Dolphins joint practice with Detroit Lions, part 2. Yesterday, it didn't go so well. The talk was we were dominated more than any other team had ever been dominated in the history of domination in the NFL. I said we probably didn't do good, but I don't think it was that bad. Today, we're hearing we came back and Mike McDaniel had some superlatives, and supposedly we dominated them like nobody's ever dominated. Guys, there's so much hyperbole and rhetoric. It's kind of tough to do this job. I just can't even operate on Twitter the last couple days. Let me explain something to you. First off, everything counts in the NFL. Every day of training, every rep of practice, every coach knows this. Every player knows this. Almost every player who's not a lock knows that their job status could be hinging on one player or the other, whether it's because of their health, getting injured, or not doing good. Every rep counts. And if you're a real football player, you don't want to get beat in sprints. You don't want to get beat in the push-up drill. You don't want to get beat in the pool table. And you certainly don't want to get beat on a rep, especially one that's a joint practice. So I think it's just crazy. It doesn't matter. People are seriously saying that it doesn't matter. Joint practices don't matter. Practice doesn't matter. Nothing matters. This is not the season. It only matters during the season. That's crazy talk. Same thing, if you have a bad couple practices or joint practices, you're doomed. Now, if you go through the whole preseason, you're dominated and fail at everything, the chances of you doing good in the season is not good. But you've got to wait to get through this thing. And even yesterday, I talked about, hey, we struggled. It was clear we struggled, but there was a lot of subterfuge or massaging going on. But I didn't really say it in a podcast, but there was talk. The offensive line didn't give up much pressure yesterday. And we were able to stop the run yesterday. So that's not domination. But we struggled in getting the ball out and in receiving department, no matter who the quarterback. And we struggled in stopping the pass. Now, there's real things involved. We didn't have Chubb yesterday. We didn't have Phillips yesterday. We didn't have Hill yesterday. And we didn't have Waddle all day. This is important factors. It's not everything, but it's all context. So all these reps matter, but it's not exactly what people are used to come the regular season. It's not about, we won the preseason game. It's about how do we match up? How do individual guys match up? What's the tenor of the units? What's the tenor of the position groups? It's not an easy, exact science, but it does matter. Anybody tells you it doesn't matter is crazy. Everything matters. You don't think that after these joint practices, those coaches are going back and they're upset at losing or happy at winning. But sometimes you take a guy and you're in 11-11s and he is a second string and you put him in the first string and it's an important, quote unquote, drive. And you run it right behind a guy, but you don't think he's not certain he can make it, and he doesn't, and then you don't get that touchdown, and you look like garbage. That's part of the context, but it matters. It all matters. So I'm going to get into some of the talk today. Effetti is now on injured reserve. We got Kajusta now replacing him. It came out in a report. There were 5 players who got 90% of the team fines last year. Some McDaniel talk, and then I'm going to go through Barry Jackson, who did a really good job today. It was not today, he does today, but today I was able to get a really long list of plays. It was very ordered. I felt like better than yesterday, not just from him, all around, to show you how the Dolphins did. And I'll let you decide. I'll kind of throw my own 2 cents in there, but it's important that you decide, but it is important. And there is good stuff, and there isn't so good stuff. It was a step up from yesterday in overall tenor. We weren't beaten physically. We saw some guys on our team step up and be physical dominators. They took charge. Not everybody, certain guys. And that's good. But we didn't get destroyed yesterday, the worst that ever seen in the history of football. though it wasn't good. And today we didn't destroy them, but we did better. And I'll let Barry Jackson, who I think does a good job. Some people say he's a little more towards the positive. But he's very fair with this. So I'll get into all that. Now, before I do, like, subscribes, comments, and views. It's what keeps Curtis in the biz. And I don't do the whole hyperbole stuff and clickbait and flashy thumbs. Maybe I should, because that's how some of these people do it. But it's treating people like children. So I try to do my thing. If you like what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe, comment, and view. Because that's how Curtis stays in the biz. Because without you and without my sponsors, without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, context is king. Context just means you're adding nuance to something. You could have extremism, we're the best, or we're the worst, we're doomed, hopium. It's always in between somewhere, but where does it vacillate to? And that's what context is. So today's context, Hill is out with oblique again. And Omar Kelly did a good job saying it's like a broken rib. It's serious. It takes time. And so this is a big injury. Could go away in a week. Could be longer. He could come back too early and aggravate it a long time. So he wasn't in. Big piece of the puzzle. Jalen Phillips still out. Lower body issue. Austin Jackson, we know. Meyer, Alec Ingold, still in concussion protocol. That was a real serious concussion. Mo Kamara, still in concussion protocol. That was a bad one. And Ashton Davis was out. Waddle was in full. Chop came back. Good news. Byron Matos, he's not going to make it, but I'm glad he's making it physically, but I don't think he's going to make the team. Hopefully he's back to 100%. He says he wants to play again, and that's great. There's a whole little thing on it, but I'm not going to get into that. So that's the context for today. But there is just this feeling I'm getting, and it doesn't mean our team is going to be this or that, but there's just, anytime someone sells too hard, it makes me feel like a used car salesman. Last year we were told the offensive line, it was the best ever. I felt so great about it, and all that. And the team is a real team, and it wasn't. It was a lie. Now, sometimes people could say stuff like that, and it's true, but Mike McDaniel said this today, and it really just kind of set off for me a little concern, because sometimes you have to oversell to hide certain things. And I'm not saying it's not. Today was a good indication that there is some truth to this. But I hate this oversell. Mike McDaniel and the team's mindset going to 2025, it's been the most emphatic commitment to a cause and to each other from a team that I've ever seen. This is the time you win regular season games. This is the time you win playoff games. Now, you got all these people telling you this is the time that doesn't count, but he's telling you it is. So there is some truth to that. To a degree, I remember we beat the Eagles. People kept talking about one joint practice, and they thought we were going to the Super Bowl. Everything. I was at walk-on. Every rep counted for me. I missed one pass block, and my career was gone. Now, I was on the low end, so I had very little room. But every rep counts. But the most emphatic commitment to a cause and to each other from a team I've ever seen, he was on some San Francisco teams that went to the Super Bowl, I believe. I don't know. That seems a little... I hope it's true. That would be great if it's true. And today showed that there is some truth to it, but it seems a little extreme. So let me get into this. I'm going to go through, it's going to take a little time, but here for you what the reports were. And there's some good, and there's not so good, and there's some great. So I'll get into it. Starting from I'll start from the beginning, work my way back, and wrote it down in reverse. The Dolphins offense began 11-11 on drills with Tua completion to Jalen Waddle for 8 yards on a bubble screen. Linebacker Alex Alonzione batted down to his pass on the next play. Pro Bowl defensive Aiden Hutchinson sacked Tua to end the possession. Dolphins linebacker Jordan Brooks, who had an excellent camp, stopped Jahmyr Gibbs for a loss on 3rd and 1. Undrafted rookie Saunders, who forced the SEC leading 4 fumbles at Mississippi last season, forced a fumble during the early red zone drills, as the Dolphins, Travis Wingfield noted. So there was some success on defense early in the run game, and not so much by the Dolphins with Tua in the lead and Waddle. Then the next, but on the other side, Detroit had success against Miami's defense and red zone drills. Red zone drills are kind of more realistic, but because you don't have to drive to it, you're there. Amon-Ra St. Rob Brown had a TD catch against Cornell Armstrong, who's not going to start. So that sounds bad, but you're talking about a Pro Bowl player versus a guy who's been out of football into a league. Jameis Williams beat Storm Duck for a touchdown. Now that's one you have to take note of. Jordan Phillips and Willie Gay combined for a tackle loss. Phillips had a very strong 2-game stretch. Jordan Brooks had a nifty tackle for loss. Brooks and Willie Gay have been the defensive VPs of training camp. Phillips is a guy you got. He's 20 years old, and he's dominating. He did well last week against the Lions, who got a good offensive line. He's dominated. That's great news. And Paul's another guy who dominated. So there is good stuff to this. Now, going back, here's what they did in the second 11-11 drills with Tua under center. Jalen Wright ran for a short gain. Tua hit Eskridge for a 20-yard post on Lions quarterback DJ Reed. Eskridge is going to make it. He's going to be the 4th or 5th guy or 6th guy, clearly. Wright had a 4-yard run, and Tua hit Malik Washington on a 7-yard completion. Tua narrowly missed Jalen Waddle for what would have been a 55-yard touchdown. Nice. The pass was overthrown, but catchable. Hit Waddle on the hands. Waddle does struggle with that. He's got to make those plays. Tua's got to throw it a little bit better. Didn't see it exactly, but from what it says here. Jalen Wright then ran for a short gain. Tua overthrew EZ on a go route. Wright showed burst on a 10-yard run, aided by block by Farrell Brown. Farrell Brown's a guy we need to pick it up, and right here he did. Anzalone, Lions linebacker, sacked Tua, who threw an incomplete pass on the subsequent play. EZ dropped a short pass from a scrambling Tua. Scrambling Tua meant he had pressure. Here's what the Dolphins did in the second set 11-11 drills with Zach Wilson on the center. Tarek Black drew a pass interference penalty from cornerback Tylen Russell on a deep route. Ollie Gordon rushed for a short gain. Black drew another pass interference call. Malik Washington was tackled behind the line of scrimmage in a running play. Wilson hit Black on a 20-yard gain. Lions cornerback Rock Ya-Sin punched Paul in the helmet. Paul walked away. I love this. Not only is Paul showing to be a physical freak, slightly violent, a trash talker, but he's showing to be smart. How easy would it have been to hit Rock Ya-Sin after that? This shows to me Paul is heading in an excellent direction. Don't know what his talent on the field will be, but he's got the brains, he's got the physical component, and he's got the violence part of it. This guy is going to be a good guy for us. Paul walked away and Jalen Wright stepped in. Paul's done a very good job blocking, helped free up Jalen Wright for a sizable gain. Tua hit D. Eskridge for 30 yards. Second one down the middle. Two bigs with Eskridge. No Hill here. This is great news. From 11-11 drills involving Detroit's offense, Lions receiver Jameis Wilson caught a deep pass from Kendall Sherfield. Sherfield's kind of a big question mark, but he's big to us. Sion Vaki ran up the middle for a 5-yard TD run. Dolphins got lucky on one sequence where backup defender left tight end Zach Horton wide open, but the quarterback, Hayden Hooker, missed him in the back of the end zone. And then here's the last little bit. Here's how they did late practice. Zach Wilson led possession. Wilson hit Andrew Armstrong. He used his hands to grab the ball over the Lions defender. Wilson hit Theo Weiss for a 20-yard gain. I know that George from Phins Faithful likes this guy, Weiss. I don't really know much about him, but he has been showing stuff. It says right here, Weiss has had a strong camp. And Weiss and Armstrong both need a very good camp the next 12 days to make a case to stick to the 53. Running back, and Dolphins' new running back, Shamplin, had a 2-yard run. Mike Boone took a screen from Wilson, ran 2 yards for a touchdown. Offensive line, Keon Smith, Shampkin on a 5-yard touchdown run. Second strings versus second strings. Last little bit, Storm Duck trying to hold on to the starting job against less than stellar competition. Had a pass breakup, but the defense lapped soon on a 3rd and 16 connection to Goff, from Goff to Lions wide receiver St. Brown. A cornerback, Mike Hilton, committed pass interference on St. Brown. Brown caught the ball anyway. Safety, but Minkah Fitzpatrick sacked Lions quarterback Jared Goff about 15 minutes later. And I don't know exactly what that means. The Dolphins didn't get much pressure on Goff Thursday. So, struggled in pass defense. We made some nice stuff on offense in the ground and in the air. There was some pressure today, more than what it appears to be yesterday. And we struggle stopping the pass. But a lot of this stuff struggles is Amon St. Ra and Goff just decimating our secondary. Now, there's going to be connections like this with top receivers and top quarterbacks. Well, Goff's not a top quarterback. And we're getting to see that we really can't handle that at a consistent basis. And there's going to be times when this potent pass rush, although it doesn't have everybody in it, didn't have Phillips today, and it's going to test our cornerbacks against these receivers, and we're not going to be hot to trot. But overall, you had Paul, you had Phillips, and you had Brooks and Gay, 4 physical guys that are putting their stamp of physicality on a very good team. This is great. There might have been others, but that's who we got noted. We are inconsistent on offense, but we don't have Hill in there. There is some pressure coming through, but this is an aggressive front. I don't know. We got to see what it's all about. There's something that's kind of continued a little bit, but it depends on when that happened. Did it happen in short plays, medium plays? I don't know. It's hard to say, but there was a decent amount of pressure today. But really it comes down to we're able to manage the front on defense, but our secondary is struggling. And we did struggle to get pass rush today. So that's the whole deal. I thought it was a definite step up. I don't think yesterday doomed us, and I don't think this puts us on the path. But both have value. Both matter. So we got rid of Ifedi. Well, he got injured. Now he's on IR, and now we got Kajusta. We really need help with this tackle department. I'm not big on Jackson. Jackson's injured a ton. He's been injured twice this offseason already. So this team is showing stuff. Paul, Grant, so far has been pretty good. Phillips, Savaianai has been pretty good. There's good pieces on this team, but will it all come together? We got to wait and see. Dolphins are not going to play their starters this Saturday against Detroit Lions. I don't know if Detroit Lions are. Maybe we'll get to see a flip between the Bears. Next week, we go to Jacksonville. We'll see if that's there. But this is a good sign. It's not certain that we're on our way and we're the most committed team in the history of committed teams, according to McDaniel. But there is just a lot of BS coming out here, a lot of hyperbole, and it bothers me. This team has a long way to go to find out who it is, but clearly they struggled. This is a good sign, Will we get a good sign against Detroit? Then a good week and good joint practice against Jacksonville. It doesn't mean winning necessarily, but we're seeing trends. And if somebody says you can't find anything out about this, then that means the coaches can't find anything about it. And McDaniel said it's all based about, playoffs and regular season wins. They're all starting here. So either it's nothing or it's something. I'm not saying it's everything, and it's not exactly what it appears, but it's definitely worth something. So let's keep watching it. You make your decision. I'm kind of getting a feel for things. Let's see how it plays out. And we're a hop, skip, and jump from week 1. And then we can all evaluate the same. Savvy? Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Curtis saying, be well, go Phins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.